ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ गङ्गणपते नमः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ श्री स्वामिनारायणाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री हरिकृष्ण महाराजाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। Jai Shri Swaminarayan. This talk is in English. Welcome to swaminarayanspirituality.com and all related podcast and YouTube video recordings. First of all, I'd like to offer my prostrations to Bhagavan Swaminarayan, all the incarnations of God, Bhagavan Krishna, Bhagavan Ramchandra Ji, Bhagavan Shankar, Mahashakti Devi, Ganesh Ji, Hanuman Ji, etc. And to all the great sages in the past who are present today and yet to come in the future. With that, today I want to explore the beautiful marriage of what is called Tyaga and Bhakti. Tyag means renunciation, Bhakti is devotion to God with lots of love. That is Bhakti. That is devotion with tremendous amount of Bhakti. It's very interesting because Tyag means to renounce. In the Swaminarayan Sampradaya, the sadhus are called Tyagi sadhu in Gujarati language. It means they are renunciates. They have to follow what is called Panch Vartman, 5 specific vows they have to take and then follow them. And those are Nishkam, Nirlobh, Niswad, Nirman, Nisneha. So what do they mean? Nishkam means absolute celibacy, and of course no other worldly desires in the broader sense. Nishkam. Nirlobh means lack of greediness, going beyond the psychological waves of greed. That is Nirlobh. Nishkam, Nirlobh, Niswad. Niswad means going beyond the entanglements of the sense of taste and smell together. That would be considered niswad. That is the goal, actually. Following the specific types of rules is to transcend the bondages of these 5 major entanglements. This is called Panch Vartman, which is a sadhana, which is a type of practice. And I'll tell you what the practice is in just a moment here. So Nishkam, Nirlobh, Niswad, Nisneha, which is to renounce contact with immediate family members. That is the practice, actually, but the goal is to internally transcend the sense that these few people are mine and to go into a higher state of realization that all of creation is mine, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, that notion, or I belong to God, God is in everybody, but that deep-seated intrapsychic attachment is transcended, or the goal is to transcend through the vow of nisneha. Ni means not. Sneha is the deep-seated, entangled attachment towards immediate family members particularly. Right? So Nishkam, Nirlobh, Niswad, Nisneha, and Nirman, which is ego, to go beyond ego, to be humble. So what are the specific practices? For Nishkam, it is 8-fold celibacy, 8-fold brahmacharya. Then for Niswad is to offer all the food to God first, God and Guru. And then to put it inside a wooden bowl, put water in there, mix it up thoroughly, and then to eat each bite with the smrti, with the remembrance of Bhagavan. Right? Or taking the name of God each time, like that. So that is called Niswad Vartman. Nishkam, Niswad, Nirman. Nirman is Aham Shunya Bhav. So lots of prostrations are done to the different Archa Swarupas in the temples, etc. Prostrations are done. That is called Danvat Pranam. And to be humble, to not promote oneself out of the human ego as it is done in the worldly life. Then there's Nisneha. The practice is, of course, to renounce the contact with the family members, and to develop intense contact with the form of God, Bhagavan Nu Swarup in Gujarati, and of course Guru and scriptures and satsang in general, but to not be stuck with this limited group of people psychologically. So to actually physically to leave that, and that is what is called tyaga. It's the physical renunciation. So nishkam, niswad, nirman, nisneha, nirlobh, to not have any greed. So the renunciate sages do not touch money also. They don't have any possessions. They don't have any bank accounts. They only have 2 pairs of clothes. They have a wooden bowl. They shave their head once a month. And they have to do all their spiritual practices. So they don't own any property. They live in the temples or they go to people's homes, things like that for spiritual discourses. But they don't have any sense of possession. So this is called Panch Vartman. It's a very powerful spiritual, psycho-spiritual, religious sadhana that was given by Bhagavan Swaminarayan to the sadhus. Anyone who is a renunciate Swaminarayan sadhu has to follow this. And in my estimation, other traditions have some pieces of these, but this level of fullness you don't generally find anywhere, as far as I know. There may be some. Maybe some of the monks on Mount Athos are very similar niyams, but it's not exactly like this. It's not at this level, right? So this is, of course, very difficult. It is only possible by grace to even live this kind of life. But the interesting part is, even if one is living this type of life, that does not necessarily mean there is vairagya. Vairagya is a state beyond attachment and detachment, beyond the polarity of attachment and detachment. So vairagya means that there is no psychological attachment or entanglement towards anything except God. That is the basic meaning of vairagya. Tyag is the doorway. Tyag for the renunciate sages is a doorway into vairagya, right? But just having tyag by itself is not enough. One has to really internally get absorbed in bhajan, kirtan, 9 forms of devotion, manan, chintan, shravan, manan, nididhyasana, sakshatkar. One is absorbed in quite a bit of internal worship towards God. And that is what will open up the dimension of vairagya. And that vairagyam is a support to unbroken bhakti. So the goal is bhakti. Dharma, Jnana and Vairagya are a protector. They are a support. They are in the service of bhakti. Because bhakti is the real goal here. The bhakti is the greatest Shakti. Bhakti is everything. So that bhakti is the connection with Paramatma. These other 3 are support. They're also connecting with Bhagavan, but they themselves are not enough. Anyway, that is called Ekantik Dharma, Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, Bhakti. The Panch Vartman is more about, the development of Vairagya and Dharma. It is an aid to protecting Bhakti. So it all comes together. It all combines together. This subject came into my mind today. I was been doing some research on these subjects for the Ekantik Dharma massive book that is being created. It's 800 plus pages long, and it will be published in the next couple of months. But the point simply is that Panch Vartman is amazing. See how hard it is for all of us who are in the householder life. If we're in the householder life, how difficult it is. We constantly are thinking of our immediate family members. And we need to also. But to be able to rise above that, just as the renunciate sages do, is the Agnya of Shri Ji Maharaj. In the Vachanamrut, he said in Gujarati, Tyagini pete manthi nirvasnik revu grahastane. So just as the monks, the sadhus are remaining above through this different path, no doubt, one who is a householder can also internally remain above, but it's very, very hard. It's hard because the mind is so stuck in the limitations, and it's stuck inside the chakra system. The 9 chakras that are within our self, essentially our subtle self, they have lots of blockages. So these are called granthi, mamatva granthi. Granthi meaning knots. So these knots are deeply embedded inside. They're very, very deeply embedded. And to break them, completely untie them, one needs to connect with Bhagavan completely and really absorb satsang inside the antakarana. Satsang meaning bhajan, kirtan, mantra, sadhana, manan, chintan, with strong faith that the murti of Paramatma is real, everything else is unreal. Mujhe bhi na jaan jo re, bija maik so akar, priti tod jo re, jhutha jani kutumba parivar. Bhagavan Swaminarayan himself has spoken this, and Premanand Swami wrote it. So he says that other than the form of Bhagavan, all other forms are Maya. But the form of Paramatma, Bhagavan Ram, Bhagavan Krishna, Bhagavan Swaminarayan, Bhagavan Purushottam Narayan, Parabrahma, Bhagavan ka jo akar hai, that form of Paramatma is real. All the other forms, including the form of our body, and the form of all family members, and the form of all people, form of all creatures, all the forms of the objects of the world, these are temporary, they are transformative in the sense they keep changing their forms, and they are hence unreal. They are, as per Vedanta teaches us, they are simply temporarily existing, but it doesn't have any actual substance or reality to it. Just like a necklace made out of gold, we use the word necklace, but it is nothing but gold. That is what Advaita teaches us. So, in that light, in a comparative light, we can simply say that the world of names and forms is unreal, but one has to be careful not to negate the form of God. Bhagavan no nitya akar enu khandan kyare na thavu જોઈએ. This is in Gujarati. This is our basic idea in Swaminarayan tradition and the teachings of Maharaj, that never to bring inside the mind this false idea that God does not have a form. God, meaning Bhagavan, God doesn't mean just the Ishvaras, meaning the Parameshvara, the one without a second, unparalleled, beyond Akshara Brahman, has a form. It can take any form. It's not male or female. It is Kishore Murti. It is divine, Divya Vigraha, Satchidananda. Right? So it is Divya Vigraha. And the forms in Golok and Vaikuntha are also like that. They are also Divya Vigraha. But again, that's a different metaphysical subject. I won't go into that here. The point is simply from our point of view, this world that we see, it's only there for some period of time. This body we see is only here for some period of time. And that is where Vairagya comes into the picture. Shriji Maharaj has also talked about the 4 types of pralay. Nitya pralay, Naimitik pralay, Prakrut pralay, Atyantika pralay. So Nitya pralay, we can see that. The other 3, we're not able to see unless we go into Samadhi. Right? So, and how does that connect with Panch Vartman? Because Panch Vartman is an aid to the development of the Vairagyam. And that Vairagyam is also developed by contemplating on these 4 pralay. The 4 pralay meaning dissolution, that everything gets dissolved all the way up to Prakriti and Purush. Everything gets dissolved. It comes and goes, comes and goes. And so, inside the mind to bring Akhanda Vairagya, meaning unbroken Vairagya, is a tremendous state. Sachin is speaking only for Sachin as a seva to present to the world. If anybody finds anything here meaningful, that is the will of the divine, Bhagavad Ichha. There's no, I'm not trying to bolster me or anything like that. This is just for purpose of sharing these ideas that Maharaj has talked about and the amazing Swaminarayan Satsang always talks about. So along those lines, Vairagya is a tremendous state, but Vairagya without bhakti has absolutely no use. It is like it is like making beautiful dishes of food with no salt in them. You cannot get the flavors out properly if there's no salt. Some little bit of salt is needed for all the flavor to come out. That bhakti is like that salt. So that's just a rough analogy. There are traditions that emphasize Jnana and Vairagya, but they don't emphasize bhakti. And without bhakti, you don't have the sweetness of the emotions flourishing. So bhakti is necessary. Bhakti is the goal. It is sadhya. And dharma, jnana, vairagya is sadhan. So in ekantik dharma, the goal is bhakti. So anyway, but to reach that state of vairagya, nitya pralay, we can see that so many beings are coming into the world, so many are going. Who is here permanently? So to meditate on the fact that world is impermanent, like the Buddha said, doctrine of impermanence. Yes, that is Jnana and Vairagya. It will bring about Jnana and Vairagya. Well, why is that even useful? People say, well, isn't that just a very sad life? If somebody has a lot of Vairagya, they are just, living a life where they don't feel anybody belongs to them. The closeness is not there with family and friends. Is that what Vairagya is? No, that is not Vairagya. There's love for all. But Vairagya is the state where there is no bondage with a limited group of people. And that is the very difficult transition. You try to make the transition and the mind will get reactive. That is why it has to be done very carefully, steadily, step by step, by increasing devotion, increasing contact with satsang, having love for devotees, and then with the family members, bringing them into the spiritual light. And so that one does not consider the limited group of people, 10 people, 15 people, 5 people, 3 people, whatever, as just my family. Internally, one reaches the state of Vasudeva Kutumbakam Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. One reaches that extraordinary state as written in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 25. That is so fantastic that one becomes a Rishi. One is not stuck with the karmic reaction anymore. One is completely free in devotion, in jnana, in vairagya, in bhakti. And in doing so, the firm conviction that Bhagavan, Paramatma, is real. That is Satyam. The Atma is real, the Akshardham is real, the Akshardhami is real. The liberated beings of Akshardham are real. Yes, and other abodes also, they are real. But these bodies that are there in the Brahmand, they come and go, come and go, come and go. They are not actually real in that sense. I mean, how many people have we seen who have passed away? This body that we have also will go one day. But while it is there, it has a maximum utilization possibility, and that is the development of ekantik dharma. Durlabh ma durlabh ekantik panu, Gunatitanand Swami mentioned. So that rarity of ekantika dharma. Ekantik dharma means the combination of the 4 sadhanas, the 4 principles of dharma, jnana, vairagya, bhakti. The complete intersection, interconnection, interlinkage, and combination of all 4 of them is called ekantika dharma, or ekantik saint, who has all 4 at the highest level, is called a liberated being, is a mukta, jivan mukta. It's a liberated being, is an ekantik saint. It's a common term used in the Swaminarayan Sampradaya. It's used very, very often. Ekantik Banu, Ekantik Panu, it's used again and again. Ekantik really means single-pointed. In the real Sanskrit, it means that. But from the Swaminarayana language, Shriji Maharaj put it this way, that is Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, Bhakti. So it is single-pointed towards God, but it's a more elaborate way of expressing that single-pointedness. That is called Ekantika Dharma. So the terminology should be clear. So for today, we covered Panch Vartman, we covered Ekantik Dharma, the 4 pralayas, this, what is that? Nitya Pralaya, Prakrut Pralaya, Naimitik Pralaya, and Gnan Pralaya, or Aitantika Pralaya. Nitya Pralaya, Naimitik pralay, Prakrut pralay, and Atyantika pralay. These all the way to Prakriti Purush. So with that terminology, so it's very interesting. I mean, the terminology is good to know, but to actually live in that, to be in that, to be absorbed in Divya Prem, Rasik Bhav, the rasa that comes from devotion. Shriji Maharaj has definitely put that, into the sampradaya, into his own life. Of course, it was there. That rasa is extremely important, because that rasa is inside bhakti, right? So that is our goal, is to be able to be in a very, very loving, constant bond with Paramatma. Swami Sevak Bhav remains all the time. In Swaminarayan Tattvagnan, Swami Sevak Bhav always, always, always remains. It never stops. Bhagwan is Swamin. Swamin, or Swami, means he is the Supreme Lord. Swami means Supreme Controller. Right? That is its actual meaning. No doubt in the BAPS organization, Swami and Narayan, Gunaditan Swami Gopal, this Gunaditan Swami and Shriji Maharaj, that interpretation has come about. But that's more bhavatmak interpretation. I would say that the Swami really means the Supreme Lord, who is the Supreme Controller. That's the meaning of the word Swami. And Narayan is the one who is existing in every single heart at all times, all the time, right? So all the different forms of Narayana are there, and that is the Narayan. The mool form of Narayana is inside the Akshardham. That is Purushottam Narayan, Parabrahma Narayan. There's Narayan in Goloka, there's Narayan in Vaikuntha, in Shwetdweep, in Badrikashram. There's Narayan in all the temples in the world, in every being, in every heart. There is Paramatma in every place, in every person. Where is Narayan not there? Vishnu is there everywhere, right? But that's the beauty, that there are forms of Narayan, more and more, there's different kinds, there are different incarnations of Narayan. Again, that's all high-level Tattvagnan, but that is the way it is described in the Vaishnava scriptures also. So many forms of Vishnu are described. So many forms of Shivji are described. It's amazing. It's mind-bogglingly incredible. It's beyond our imagination. So in short, the upasana of Bhagavan, Purushottam Bhagavan, is the key. And to do that, the Panch Vartman is a doorway. It is definitely something that is not easy to get established in. It requires Guru Krupa. Otherwise, one cannot be successful in Panch Vartman. All kinds of reactions can happen psychologically. So there's other ways to deal with them. If one's mind is becoming reactive, it has to be dealt with and cured somehow. Sometimes the Tyagi sadhus, they go back into Grahasthashram, and they have to follow that path and eventually reach Vairagya that way. Many cases are like that, right? So Tyagashram is not for everyone, and Grahasthashram is not for everyone. But in any ashram, there are different duties, different niyams, but the goal is only one. The goal is Bhagavan. To reach that goal, Akhanda Vairagya and Akhanda Gnan. Gnan and Vairagya are two sides of the same coin. They supplement each other, complement each other. They cannot exist without each other. A true Gnani has 100% Vairagya. A true Vairagi has 100% Gnan. Right? So, that is the beauty of satsang. Much, much more we can talk about. This was just for my own reflection. Some inspiration was there in my mind to talk about this, to go into it a bit. For myself only, it's nothing for anybody else. As it is taught in satsang, katha varta potana matech karvani hoy. Just like we have, food that we eat, we make it, we may serve to others, but to satisfy our hunger, we have to eat it ourselves. Nobody can eat it for us. Nobody can chew it for us. Nobody can swallow it for us, and nobody can digest it for us. That we have to do that ourselves. Uddaret atmanatmanam. Chapter 6 of the Gita teaches us this point. So that is the fact of the matter. That there is nobody else to worry about as such why somebody else is not progressing spiritually or this way. One has to keep 100% attention on oneself only. Very difficult. Potana kalyanma drashti barabar rakhi. Bijano loto joto kar. Gunatidanand Swami is teaching, very famous in the Sampradaya. The guideline is so extraordinary. Keep 100% attention on one's own development. Don't worry about anybody else. Love all, serve all. Sarvabhuta hite rataha. Don't worry about anybody. Don't worry about other people's progress. That will be handled by them and God and Guru. Why Sachin has to worry about? If Sachin starts thinking about that, I'm diverted from what I have to do. Diverted from seeing myself. Garuda Pratham number 6, Vivek Nu Vachanamrut. It's very clear. Shriji Maharaj is saying, look at your own faults and deficiencies and see the good qualities of others and keep progressing. And if we move on that path, we reach great spiritual heights. True spirituality begins to open up when one becomes aware of one's deficiencies and starts working on them, keeps attention on everybody else's good qualities. Even though there are deficiencies, we may know them, see them, but not to focus on them, focus on their good qualities, emphasize them, so there's no conflict left with anybody. Why have any conflict with anybody? Even the most vile people may have one or two good qualities. And if you cannot find them, you can take something negative and turn it into positive. But why hold on to negativity when the goal is God? Because whatever is going on in the whole Brahmand, it's all just a bubble. It's here one day, gone the next. People are here one day, gone the next. Where's the issue of hanging on to the experiences of the Brahmand? Of course, we have to live as peacefully, mindfully, meaningfully, and in very great balance practically in life. But to do so that the doorway into the Akshardham opens up. Actual doorway beyond the Sahasrara Chakra, it actually opens up. Right? That is the goal. Archi Marg is talked about. So it's very interesting, but all that is described in Vachanamrut, and which actually is an extract of thousands and thousands of scriptures. And that is the goal. The goal is Narayan, Bhagavan Narayan, Deyo Narayano Hari. And not to divert from that. That diversion from that is Maya. The synchronicity with that goal again and again is the right sadhana in the right direction. And through the right sadhana in the right direction, Bhagavan sees, God sees, the sadhak is really wanting to come to me. Okay, I'll remove the Maya. I'll remove all the obstacles. The obstacles, we cannot remove them. The only thing we can do is retune ourselves to the right frequency to go on the right path. And then by the grace of God, He removes the Maya. Devi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratya Mam Evaya Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. Gita ji is teaching us beautifully. Maya Metam Tarantite. You come to me, you start your direction heading towards me, I'll remove the Maya. You don't have to worry about my yoga kshema vaham. I'll take care of everything for you so that you can come to me. Bhagavan aisi baat karte. God teaches this way. In all the traditions, Bible teaches this, Gita teaches this, Vachanamrut teaches this, Shikshapatri teaches this, Satsangi Jivan, Bhakta Chintamani, all the Santa Parampara throughout Sanatan Dharma, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, everybody, A to Z, all enlightened sages have taught the same truth. That set the direction towards Paramatma in any which way that you can. And He, meaning the Paramatma, it's not really he or she, but that Parabrahma Tattva will remove the obstacles and remove the power of Maya, remove the illusion of Maya, the delusion caused by Maya, the Aham and Mamatva caused by Maya, because that is also a power of God. That is also a power of the Brahman. Right? So, Parabrahman is a power, it's a Shakti. Bhagavan ni Shakti che Maya. So he just changes its direction. The Shakti turns into Bhakti. It just transmutes into Bhakti. That Bhakti is a link with the Paramatma, and by the divine grace, that Bhakta becomes a Mukta. And on that note, I want to offer my prostrations to all the sages, to Bhagavan, and only to pray to the Supreme Lord to keep this mind that is inside this body of Sachin, or inside this being that is Sachin, that it should remain connected to the Lord, to Bhagavan, and to all the great sages with all the blessings of all the incarnations, so that the fulfillment of the divine will may happen through this body, mind, and on that basis, further and further growth and development on the spiritual path may occur. With that, Om Shri Swaminarayanai Namo Namaha.